There's a world out there so massive it could swallow 1,300 Earths whole and still have room for dessert. We're talking about a place where storms larger than our entire planet have been raging for centuries. Storms so powerful they make our worst hurricanes look like gentle summer breezes. And here's the incredible part. This giant's gravitational pull is so strong it actually deflects deadly asteroids away from Earth, acting like a cosmic bodyguard we never knew we had. This isn't some wild science fiction fantasy. This is Jupiter, the undisputed king of our solar system and quite possibly the reason you're alive to hear this story today. You know what's fascinating? For thousands of years, ancient civilizations looked up at the night sky and saw this bright wandering star. They named it after their most powerful gods, Jupiter for the Romans, Zeus for the Greeks. They had no idea they were looking at something that would make their gods seem small by comparison. They couldn't have imagined that this distant point of light was actually a world so alien, so massive, and so important to our very existence. Today, we're going to peel back the cosmic curtain and discover the secrets of this gaseous giant. We'll explore how it formed in the early days of our solar system, how it became the protective shield that keeps dangerous space rocks from turning Earth into a cosmic shooting gallery, and why scientists believe that without Jupiter, complex life on our planet might never have had the chance to evolve. But here's where it gets really interesting. The more we learn about Jupiter, the more we realize how little we actually know. Every space mission sends back data that challenges what we thought we understood. Every new discovery raises 10 more questions. It's like trying to understand a person by only seeing their shadow. You get hints of something magnificent, but the full picture remains tantalizingly out of reach. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey to a world where diamonds might rain from the sky, where the pressure could crush you into a speck smaller than a grain of sand, and where magnetic fields create light, shows that would make the northern lights weep with envy. Welcome to Jupiter, the gentle giant that's been keeping us safe for over 4 billion years, and we're only just beginning to understand how. Before we dive deeper into this cosmic adventure, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Exploring the Universe so you won't miss any of our incredible discoveries about the cosmos that surrounds us. Let me put Jupiter's size into perspective for you in a way that'll blow your mind. You know how we think Earth is pretty big? Well, Jupiter is so enormous that if it were completely hollow, you could fit 1,300 Earths inside it and still have space left over. But here's what makes this even more incredible. Jupiter isn't just big. It's fundamentally different from our rocky home planet in ways that challenge everything we think we know about worlds. Picture this. Jupiter weighs 318 times more than Earth. That's like comparing a bowling ball to a marble. And that massive weight creates gravity that's 2.5 times stronger than what we experience here. If you could somehow stand on Jupiter, which you can't, and we'll get to why in a moment, you'd weigh more than twice what you do right now. A person who weighs 150 pounds on Earth would suddenly find themselves carrying 375 pounds on Jupiter. You'd be crushed under your own weight before you could even take a step. Now, here's where Jupiter gets really weird. Unlike Earth, Mars, Venus, or Mercury, Jupiter doesn't have what we'd call a surface. There's no solid ground to stand on, no rocky landscape to explore. Instead, Jupiter is what scientists call a gas giant. It's basically a massive ball of hydrogen and helium that gets denser and denser the deeper you go, but never quite becomes solid in the way we understand it. Think about it this way. If Jupiter were a basketball, Earth would be smaller than a raisin sitting next to it. That comparison isn't just about size. It's about understanding that we're dealing with two completely different types of worlds. Earth is like a solid, dependable friend you can count on. Jupiter is like a swirling, mysterious entity that plays by entirely different rules. But here's what really gets me excited about Jupiter's nature. Imagine what would happen if you could somehow dive into this giant. You'd start by falling through wispy clouds of ammonia and water vapor. As you fell deeper, the atmosphere would get thicker and thicker around you. The pressure would start building, first gently, then more intensely, then crushingly. Eventually, the hydrogen gas would become so compressed, it would start acting like a liquid, then like a metal. You'd never hit a surface because there isn't one. You'd just keep sinking through layers of increasingly dense material until the pressure literally squeezed you out of existence. What fascinates scientists is that Jupiter might have started out much like the other planets, as a solid rocky core about the size of Earth. But then, something extraordinary happened. This core became so massive it started pulling in all the gas and dust around it, growing bigger and bigger until it became the monster we see today. It's like Jupiter ate everything in its neighborhood and just kept growing. Here's something that'll make you appreciate how different Jupiter really is. While Earth took millions of years to cool down and develop its rocky crust, Jupiter has been hot since the day it formed 4.5 billion years ago. Even now, it radiates more heat into space than it receives from the sun. It's like a cosmic furnace that's been burning since before life existed on Earth, and it's still going strong. The really mind-bending part is that Jupiter almost became a star. If it had gathered just a bit more mass during its formation, maybe 50 to 80 times more, it would have started nuclear fusion in its core and become a second sun in our solar system. Can you imagine that? We could have been living in a binary star system, with two suns lighting up our sky. Life on Earth would have been completely different if it had existed at all. But Jupiter didn't become a star, and that might be the luckiest thing that ever happened to us. Instead, it became something even more special. A planetary guardian that has been shaping and protecting our solar system for billions of years, in ways we're only just beginning to understand. There's something haunting about looking at Jupiter through a telescope and seeing that massive red eye staring back at you. For 400 years, that's longer than the United States has existed, longer than Shakespeare has been dead. Astronomers have been watching this gigantic storm swirl across Jupiter's face. And here's what makes your mind reel. This single storm is so enormous that 3 entire Earths could fit inside it with room to spare. Think about that for a moment. The most destructive hurricane in Earth's history might last a few weeks and cover a few hundred miles. This storm on Jupiter has been raging since before Galileo first pointed his telescope at the heavens in 1609. It was there when the American colonies were founded, when Napoleon conquered Europe, when your great-great-grandparents were born, and it'll probably still be there long after we're gone. But what keeps this cosmic hurricane alive for centuries? The answer lies in something almost beyond our earthly comprehension. Inside the Great Red Spot, winds are screaming at over 300 miles per hour. That's twice as fast as the strongest hurricanes we've ever recorded on Earth. These aren't just fast winds, they're winds that could literally tear apart anything we've ever built. Here's where it gets really fascinating. On Earth, hurricanes die when they hit land or move over cold water because they need specific conditions to survive. But Jupiter doesn't have continents or oceans to disrupt its storms. Instead, the Great Red Spot feeds off Jupiter's own internal heat and the chaotic mixing of different atmospheric layers. It's like a self-sustaining engine of destruction that creates its own fuel. The storm is what scientists call a high-pressure system, which means it spins in the opposite direction from hurricanes on Earth. Imagine a massive whirlpool, but instead of sucking things down, it's pushing everything up and out. This creates a kind of atmospheric mountain that rises above Jupiter's cloud deck, making it visible from millions of miles away. But here's where the story takes an intriguing turn. Recent observations suggest something that has scientists both excited and concerned. The Great Red Spot appears to be shrinking. When astronomers first started keeping detailed records in the 1800s, the storm was large enough that 4 Earths could fit inside it. Now it's down to about 3 Earths, and some measurements suggest it's getting smaller every year. This raises a question that keeps planetary scientists awake at night. Are we witnessing the slow death of one of the solar system's most iconic features? Or is this just a natural cycle, like a cosmic breathing pattern that we don't yet understand? Dr. Scott Bolton, who leads NASA's Juno mission to Jupiter, puts it beautifully when he says the Great Red Spot is like Jupiter's beating heart, and we still don't completely understand its rhythm. His team has been using the most advanced spacecraft we've ever sent to Jupiter, flying closer to the giant planet than any mission before, and even they're surprised by what they're finding. The Juno spacecraft has revealed that the Great Red Spot isn't just a surface storm. It extends deep into Jupiter's atmosphere, possibly hundreds of miles down. It's like discovering that what you thought was a puddle is actually a lake. The storm has roots that go so deep into Jupiter that it might be connected to the planet's very core. What really captures the imagination is thinking about the violence and beauty happening in that storm. Lightning bolts larger than entire continents flash through clouds of ammonia and water. Winds that could launch a car into orbit create spiraling patterns more complex than any artwork humans have ever made. And all of this is happening in an environment where the pressure would crush you instantly and the cold would freeze you solid. There's something almost poetic about the Great Red Spot's longevity. It has outlasted empires, witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, and watched as humanity went from thinking the Earth was the center of the universe to actually sending spacecraft to visit Jupiter itself. It's a reminder that while we measure our lives in decades, the cosmos operates on timescales that make our entire history seem like a brief moment. The big question now is whether we'll solve the mystery of what keeps this storm alive before it disappears forever. Or perhaps, just perhaps, we'll discover that reports of its death have been greatly exaggerated, and it's simply changing in ways we don't yet understand. After all, something that has survived for 4 centuries probably has a few tricks left up its swirling crimson sleeve. Jupiter isn't traveling through space alone. It's like the leader of its own cosmic family, surrounded by 92 moons of all shapes and sizes. But here's what makes this absolutely mind-blowing. Some of these distant worlds might actually harbor life as we speak. We're not talking about little green men, but possibly the most profound discovery in human history. Proof that life exists beyond Earth. Let me take you on a journey to 3 of the most incredible worlds you've probably never heard of, each one stranger and more fascinating than anything science fiction writers have ever imagined. First, there's Europa, and this little moon might just be the most important place in our solar system. From the outside, Europa looks like a cracked ice ball, but beneath that frozen surface lies a secret that could change everything we know about life in the universe. Scientists believe Europa has a vast ocean hidden beneath its icy shell, an ocean that contains more water than all of Earth's oceans combined. Just think about that for a moment. A moon smaller than our own moon has more water than our entire blue planet. But here's where it gets really exciting. This isn't just any water. It's liquid water that's been sloshing around for billions of years, kept warm by Jupiter's powerful gravitational pull. As Europa orbits Jupiter, the giant planet's gravity squeezes and stretches the little moon like a stress ball, creating friction that generates heat. This cosmic massage has been keeping Europa's ocean liquid since the dawn of the solar system. And where there's liquid water, especially water that's been around for billions of years, there's a chance for life. Not just simple life, but potentially complex ecosystems that evolved completely independently from anything on Earth. Imagine creatures that have never seen sunlight, living in an alien ocean beneath miles of ice, in a world where the only light comes from the glow of volcanic vents on the ocean floor. Then there's Io, and this place is literally hell frozen over, or rather, hell that's never been frozen at all. Io is the most volcanically active world we know of, and when I say active, I mean it's basically a cosmic lava lamp that never stops bubbling. This moon has over 400 active volcanoes that shoot lava fountains 300 miles high. That's higher than the International Space Station orbits above Earth. Picture this. You're standing on Io's surface. If you could somehow survive the radiation and toxic gases, and you see geysers of molten rock shooting up so high they disappear into space. The entire moon is constantly reshaping itself through volcanic eruptions. In fact, Io is so active that it completely resurfaces itself every million years or so. That means the ground beneath your feet would be younger than the dinosaurs that once walked on Earth. What makes Io so violent is the same thing that keeps Europa's ocean warm, Jupiter's crushing gravitational grip. But unlike Europa, Io is close enough to Jupiter that the tidal forces are absolutely brutal. The moon gets stretched and squeezed so intensely that its interior stays molten, feeding an endless cycle of volcanic destruction and creation. And then there's Ganymede, the giant of Jupiter's family, and the largest moon in our entire solar system. Ganymede is bigger than the planet Mercury and has something that makes it absolutely unique among moons. It has its own magnetic field. This means Ganymede is essentially a mini-planet in its own right, with its own protective magnetic bubble that shields it from Jupiter's deadly radiation. But Ganymede holds another secret. Like Europa, It likely has a subsurface ocean, but this one is even deeper and more mysterious. Some scientists think Ganymede's ocean might be sandwiched between layers of ice, creating a multi-layered water world that could have existed for billions of years. The magnetic field might even create conditions that could support life in ways we haven't even thought of yet. Here's what really gets me excited about these worlds. Each one represents a completely different approach to potentially supporting life. Europa with its hidden ocean, warmed by tidal heating. Io with its volcanic hell that might actually create the chemical conditions life needs to get started. Ganymede with its magnetic protection and layered oceans that could have remained stable for eons. The crazy part is that when Galileo first spotted these moons through his primitive telescope in 1610, he had no idea he was looking at some of the most potentially habitable places in the solar system. He just saw 4 dots of light dancing around Jupiter, not knowing that one of them might harbor alien fish swimming in an underground ocean, or that another might have volcanic activity that puts Earth's most powerful eruptions to shame. These aren't just cold, dead rocks orbiting a gas giant. They're dynamic, evolving worlds with their own weather, their own geology, and possibly their own biology. In a sense, Jupiter isn't just a planet. It's the center of its own miniature solar system, complete with worlds that might be teeming with life. So here's the question that keeps astrobiologists up at night. If you could visit one of these alien worlds, which would you choose? Would you brave Europa's icy shell to dive into its hidden ocean and search for alien life forms that have never seen sunlight? Or would you venture to Io's volcanic hellscape to witness the most dramatic geological activity in the solar system, watching lava fountains that dwarf anything Earth has ever produced? If this kind of content fascinates you as much as it fascinates me, make sure to subscribe to Exploring the Universe and join us as we continue to uncover all the incredible mysteries the cosmos has in store for us. In July of 1994, humanity witnessed something that changed our understanding of our place in the cosmos forever. A comet called Shoemaker-Levy 9, broken into 21 massive fragments, slammed into Jupiter in a spectacular display of cosmic violence that astronomers around the world watched in real time. The impact created fireballs larger than Earth itself, leaving dark scars on Jupiter's surface that lasted for months. But here's the part that should make you pause and think. If Jupiter hadn't been there, that comet might have been heading straight for us. Picture this scenario for a moment. Instead of Jupiter's immense gravity capturing and destroying Shoemaker-Levy 9, imagine those 21 chunks of ice and rock, each one the size of a mountain, screaming toward Earth at over 60,000 miles per hour. The largest fragment alone would have created an explosion equivalent to 6 million hydrogen bombs going off simultaneously. That's enough energy to wipe out an entire continent and throw so much debris into the atmosphere that it could trigger a global winter lasting years. The dinosaurs learned this lesson the hard way 66 million years ago, when an asteroid, about 6 miles wide, ended their 165 million year reign on Earth. But here's what's fascinating. Since Jupiter formed over 4 billion years ago, it's been quietly playing the role of our cosmic bodyguard, using its massive gravitational field to sweep up dangerous objects that might otherwise find their way to our neighborhood. Think of Jupiter as the solar system's vacuum cleaner. Its gravity is so powerful that it bends the paths of asteroids and comets, either pulling them in for destruction or flinging them harmlessly out toward the outer reaches of space. Computer simulations suggest that without Jupiter's protective influence, Earth would be hit by large asteroids and comets hundreds of times more often than it actually is. This raises a profound question that philosophers and scientists have been grappling with. Do we owe our very existence to Jupiter? Without this giant planet acting as our guardian, would complex life have ever had the chance to evolve on Earth? Would the delicate conditions that allowed single-celled organisms to eventually become dinosaurs, then mammals, then humans, have remained stable long enough for us to emerge? The answer might be yes. Some scientists believe that Jupiter's protection was crucial during Earth's early development, when life was just getting started, and a single large impact could have sterilized our planet completely. During those vulnerable first billion years, Jupiter may have been the difference between Earth becoming a thriving world and Earth becoming another dead rock floating in space. But here's where the story gets really interesting and a bit unsettling. Jupiter isn't always our friend.
Sometimes that same massive gravitational field that protects us can actually work against us. There have been instances where Jupiter's gravity has taken asteroids that were minding their own business in the outer solar system and flung them toward the inner planets like cosmic fire. It's like having a well-meaning but unpredictable neighbor who usually keeps the bullies away but occasionally throws a rock through your window.
Jupiter's relationship with Earth is complicated. It's simultaneously our protector and our potential destroyer, depending on the cosmic circumstances. This creates what scientists call a gravitational balancing act that's been going on for billions of years. Jupiter helps maintain the stable orbits of all the inner planets, including Earth. Without Jupiter's gravitational influence, Earth's orbit might be much more elliptical, creating extreme climate variations that could make life impossible. Our seasons would be wildly unpredictable, and the difference between our closest and furthest approach to the sun could mean the difference between a frozen wasteland and a scorched desert. But this raises an even deeper philosophical question. If Jupiter protects us, who protects Jupiter? The answer is both humbling and awe-inspiring. Nothing does. Jupiter stands alone as the giant of our solar system, taking cosmic hits that would devastate smaller worlds. Every comet it absorbs, every asteroid it deflects, every piece of space debris it sweeps up is one less threat to the rest of us. In a strange way, Jupiter is like the ultimate cosmic sacrifice. It puts itself in harm's way, absorbing impacts and gravitational chaos so that smaller, more delicate worlds like Earth can exist in relative peace. The Great Red Spot we talked about earlier might actually be the result of Jupiter constantly getting pummeled by space debris over billions of years, creating the turbulent atmosphere that feeds these eternal storms. Here's what really blows my mind about this whole situation. Jupiter doesn't know it's protecting us. There's no consciousness behind its actions, no deliberate choice to be our guardian. It's simply a consequence of physics, of mass and gravity and orbital mechanics. Yet this unconscious cosmic force has shaped the entire history of life on Earth. When you look up at Jupiter in the night sky, and it's often the brightest object up there after the Moon and Venus, you're looking at the reason your ancestors survived long enough to become your ancestors. You're seeing the guardian that's been standing watch over Earth since before the first bacteria learned to photosynthesize, before the first fish crawled onto land, before the first human looked up at the stars and wondered about their place in the universe. The relationship between Earth and Jupiter is one of the most beautiful examples of how interconnected our solar system really is. We're not isolated worlds spinning alone in the darkness. We're part of a cosmic dance that's been choreographed by gravity and time, where every planet plays a crucial role in the survival of all the others. And maybe that's the most profound lesson Jupiter teaches us. Sometimes the most important protectors are the ones who guard us silently, without recognition or thanks, simply by being exactly where they need to be when they need to be there. As we reach the end of our journey to Jupiter, I want you to step back for a moment and think about what we've discovered together. Jupiter isn't just another planet floating in space. It's so much more than that. It's the architect of our entire solar system, the silent guardian that has been watching over Earth for billions of years, and a cosmic laboratory where phenomena happen that push the very limits of what we thought was possible. Think about the lessons Jupiter teaches us through its existence. That great red spot, raging for 4 centuries without pause, shows us what true resilience looks like. While we worry about storms that last a few days, Jupiter demonstrates that some forces in the universe have the power to endure for longer than entire civilizations. It reminds us that persistence isn't just a human virtue. It's written into the very fabric of the cosmos. And those incredible moons orbiting Jupiter, Europa with its hidden ocean, Io with its volcanic fury, Ganymede with its protective magnetic field, they inspire us to keep searching for life beyond our pale blue dot. They whisper to us that life might be far more common and far more adaptable than we ever dared to hope. Every time we point our telescopes toward Jupiter's family of moons, we're essentially asking one of the most profound questions humans have ever asked. Are we alone? But perhaps the most important lesson Jupiter teaches us is about the dual nature of the universe itself. The same gravitational force that protects us from deadly comets and asteroids could also fling destruction our way. The same cosmic violence that creates those magnificent storms and volcanic eruptions could easily snuff out life on Earth if the circumstances were just slightly different. This is the universe we live in. Beautiful and terrifying, protective and dangerous, nurturing and violent, all at the same time. Jupiter embodies this cosmic paradox perfectly. It's a gentle giant that could crush us without effort, a guardian that sometimes throws rocks at the very world it protects, a laboratory of extremes that helps us understand our own planet's delicate balance. When ancient peoples looked up at Jupiter and named it after their most powerful gods, they were more right than they could have possibly known. Jupiter truly is godlike in its influence over our solar system. But unlike the capricious gods of mythology, Jupiter's power comes from the elegant simplicity of physics, mass, gravity, momentum, and time working together in a cosmic symphony that has been playing for over 4 billion years. Here's what I find most remarkable about our relationship with Jupiter. For most of human history, we had no idea this distant point of light was protecting us. We didn't know it was keeping deadly asteroids away from Earth, or that its moons might harbor alien life, or that its very existence helped create the stable conditions that allowed us to evolve. We were being protected by a cosmic guardian we didn't even know existed, and that makes me wonder what other protective forces might be operating in our universe right now, forces we haven't discovered yet, phenomena we can't even imagine yet. If Jupiter's protective role was invisible to us for thousands of years, what else might we be missing about how our cosmic neighborhood really works? As we continue to explore Jupiter with increasingly sophisticated spacecraft and telescopes, each new discovery reveals just how much we still don't know. Every answer leads to 10 new questions. Every image sends back data that challenges our assumptions. Jupiter keeps reminding us that the universe is far stranger, far more complex, and far more wonderful than we thought. But maybe that's exactly as it should be. Maybe the joy isn't in having all the answers. Maybe it's in the endless discovery, the constant surprise, the humbling realization that we're part of something so much bigger and more magnificent than ourselves. So the next time you see Jupiter shining in the night sky, take a moment to appreciate what you're really looking at. You're seeing the guardian that has been protecting Earth since before life began. You're looking at a world where storms rage for centuries and moons harbor hidden oceans. You're witnessing the architect of our solar system, still hard at work after 4.5 billion years. And remember that Jupiter's story is still being written. New missions are being planned, new discoveries are waiting to be made, and new mysteries are ready to unfold. We're living in the golden age of space exploration, and Jupiter will continue to surprise and inspire us for generations to come. The universe is vast and mysterious, but it's also knowable. Every question we ask, every mission we launch, every telescope we build brings us one step closer to understanding our place in this cosmic dance. And Jupiter, the king of planets, will be there to guide us on that journey, just as it has been guiding and protecting our world since the very beginning. Subscribe to Exploring the Universe. Hit that notification bell, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with friends who are passionate about the cosmos, just like you are. We'll see you on our next stellar journey as we continue exploring the wonders that surround us in this incredible universe we call home.